and gentlemen. So welcome to the City of Hudson Council meeting for Monday, February 14th. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Mayor Burchill.
Here.
District 1 Morset.
Here.
District 2 Yaku.
Here.
District 3 Bernard.
Here.
District 4 Tewinkle.
Here.
District 5 Haggett is excused. District 6 Vanslo.
Here. At this time in our agenda, we ask for any comments from citizens that are here tonight that would like to speak to the council that is not on the agenda. So if there's anyone here tonight that would like to speak to the council on anything that's not on the agenda, now is your time. Is there anyone here? The next order of business, then, we have a City of Hudson Appreciation Award. And that is for, let me read this. City of Hudson Appreciation Award to Leroy, can you come on up? Eisenbach, in grateful recognition for your outstanding efforts and nearly 32 years of service to as a wastewater operator and in park maintenance from April 1982 to February 2014. 32 years, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Leroy. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
You want to say anything?
Things have changed.
All right. Thanks, Leroy. Madam Clerk, the consent agenda, please.
To approve the regular Common Council meeting minutes of February 10th, 2014. To approve claims for payment in the amount of $665,896.40. A detailed description is available in the clerk's office on request and is posted on the city's website. To approve the issuance of one regular operator's license contingent on approval by the police department and payment of any outstanding debt owed to the city for the period February 25th, 2014 to June 30th, 2015, to Jamison Bolt. To approve blocking off Walnut Street between First Street and Second Street on Saturday, August 9th, 2014, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the Brit Fest Car Show. To approve the halos of the St. Croix Valley 5K Family Fun Day on Saturday, July 26, 2014 in Lakefront Park. To approve the use of the Dyke Road at the Arch for the Stratton Foley Wedding on Saturday, May 30th, 2015 from 2:30 p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. To approve the plans for the antenna and equipment building improvements at Carmichael Road Water Tower as proposed by Verizon Wireless, with the condition that the landscape plan be approved by the Water Utility Director and the Community Development Director. The city attorney approved the lease agreement, and the final plans are approved by the Water Utility Commission. To approve the request from the Knights of Columbus for 2 temporary Class B beer and Class B wine licenses to be used March 28, 2014 and April 11, 2014, from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at St. Patrick's Church Fish Fry events. To place on file the financial report for January 31st, 2014, the building inspector's annual report, the Water Utility Commission minutes of February 11th, 2014, the Water Utility Report for the fourth quarter of 2013, the St. Croix EMS Commission minutes of January 21st, 2014, and the Community Access Board minutes of February 12th, 2014. That is all.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Yaku?
Yes.
Vanslo?
Yes.
Tewinkle?
Yes.
Bernard?
Yes.
Morset?
Yes. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the Planning Commission, from the Plan Commission, discuss and possible action on amendments to City of Hudson Municipal Zoning Code, Chapter 255, in regards to breweries, brew pubs, wineries, manufacturers, distilleries in B3 Central Business District and B2 General Business District. Set public hearing for March 24th, 2014 at 6:50 p.m. Mr. Darnold.
Thank you. During the past year, we received several requests by a variety of potential liquor distillers, wineries, brew pubs, breweries, in regards to potentially having small facilities, particularly in the downtown area. So we went to Plan Commission, we discussed that possibility. We've worked on an ordinance over the past 9 months or so. Plan Commission recommended the ordinance to the city attorney. Catherine, as city attorney, prepared a overall review of the licensing requirements and what controls the city may have on these variety of licensed facilities. And at the last meeting, the Plan Commission recommended approval of a draft regulations that would go into the zoning ordinance. The draft as presented to the Plan Commission was changed minimally, which would list breweries as not permitted in the B3 Central Business District, and the B2 general, just a B3 general, and listing the brewery secondary retail site as allowed through a conditional use permit in the B3 Business District and a B2 General Business District. The other issue Kathy and I discussed today was on page 3 of the proposed ordinance. We didn't catch, there would be under conditional use permit standards, section A does list breweries as a permitted use through conditional use permit in this B3 Central Business District. That would need to be struck. Other than that, again, what we're suggesting is to take the draft ordinance to public hearing on March 24th at 6:50. And at that time, upon receiving comments, the council could consider approving the draft ordinance or could make changes at that time to the proposed ordinance, or if there's any discussion considerations tonight that you may want Catherine or I to work on prior to the public hearing notice going in place, and that discussion could take place tonight also.
So, comments, questions?
I have one question, Denny.
Yep.
Which part did you say would need to be struck?
You go to page 3.
Yeah, page 3 under conditional use permits.
Yep.
Just strike the first word where it says breweries.
Could I ask some of the reasoning by not having, so let me back up. Clarify to me that you're saying the central business district is downtown,
Correct.
and you're saying that you're not going to allow this to happen. So if somebody bought one of our older buildings down there and decided to open up a brew pub looking out over the lake, this says no.
No, you
No,
brew
the
pub is
only
fine.
brew pubs, manufacturers, or, which is also termed distilleries, and wineries would be permitted through a conditional use permit, along with a secondary retail site for a brewery would be allowed by conditional use permit in the downtown. The only one that was not passed on through our discussions with the draft ordinance was breweries in the downtown area.
Because they,
I think there's,
no limit on production, and they're not necessarily connected with retail or restaurant.
A brewery
They're
also.
bigger, they're more, I think the Plan Commission considered them more along the industrial.
A brewery does not have
Side of
hours,
it.
so it would be something that could come downtown into our central business district and stay open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we have which would be competing with our existing businesses downtown, that we have hours and time. In other words, they could serve 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I'm,
Well, the city may, you're correct in that they get a permit from the state, not a license from the city. And under the state permit, they're not subject to the closing hours that other municipal licensees are. It's not clear because these are relatively new where you're mixing uses, whether the city would be able to adopt restrictions on that license for the closing hours. I think the city could, but right now, as long as they were consistent with the other licensees' closing hours, but there hasn't been these types of operations without closing hours that are retail-type operations.
the other concern that I had in in the planning was the fact, the trucks and the smell for downtown for a brewery. And whether or not that makes any sense to have that kind of a brewery smell in our downtown. And again, delivery trucks and grain trucks that may or may not come into the downtown central business district.
I mean, it becomes a manufacturing.
Yeah, it is a
Bottling
essentially a
and-
manufacturing use.
So, can I ask a quick
Yeah,
question? Just on-
Randy, I don't know, let's go back to Randy, because he hadn't.
I'm not sure I agree with the points,
Yeah.
and I know that the statutes are put in place as a guideline, the base, we have to follow that at a minimum. So hopefully we could put restrictions on something as that. But I just wanted to clarify that we're not stopping or preventing a business, a brew pub, bar, or grill, or whatever, to be able to come in downtown. And you're saying, we're not doing that with this ordinance, they get a conditional use permit, they can operate a little brew pub.
If
Sure.
if they
If
can get
they
a
did.
conditional use permit. And again, part of the conditional use permit is to look at the site, at the location, how does it fit within the context of the downtown area? What's the effect of truck traffic? Are there potentially negative effects that in some locations of the downtown area, they may not fit? And through a conditional use permit, it would give us the possibility of saying no if that's what is felt by the Plan Commission and Common Council. So it's not a,
So you are
Essentially, yes.
restricting, it's an as-come basis, so it has to be reviewed regardless of the ordinance that's in place.
and a public hearing would be
Yeah.
required.
Yep,
Yes.
under the same standards as, and some additional standards in this ordinance as other conditionally permitted uses. In other words, it's not permitted as of right, but there are standards in the ordinance, reasons to consider why it may or may not be appropriate.
Okay.
Can I
Randy,
just,
did that answer?
No, but go ahead.
Okay.
I just wondered if I could get a definition of the brewery secondary retail outlet. The others are all,
Well, it's
Defined.
not defined in the statute. What the statute says is for a brewery, it may have an off-site retail outlet where it could either sell
On sale or off sale?
on sale or off sale, have a restaurant, but it would be separate. It's just something that the statute allows someone with a brewery permit to have one off-site retail
And an
outlet.
example would be, I don't know if you've been to Chippewa Falls, the Wine and Kugel Brewery. They have the brewery, and then they have the Liney's Lodge, which is, well, it's across the
Offsite.
creek, but it's on, it's not in the brewery.
so I'm
It's-
just wondering why we don't define it.
It's not a defined, it's not a separate license from, or permit from the brewery.
Well,
Whereas brew pub is, but it is a different type of use, and that's why
I
we,
guess Lori is, can we define it? I think Kathy and I could try to define it, but Kathy, Kathy has tried to accomplish here is to align the definitions of the state statute with our local ordinance, so there's not confusion between the two.
well, I could refer to the statute that permits it. I mean, it's just the brewery statute. I don't know, to be honest, because it's not defined what they mean by retail outlet.
So why are we,
Because it's separate and it's could be
allowed.
more commercial in nature than the actual brewery that manufactures it's a retail operation as opposed to a manufacturing operation.
They would not be able to manufacture at that location.
Correct. That's
whereas
the
a brew
idea.
pub would?
Correct.
A brew pub is a whole separate entity or type of operation from a brewery. It has a
Right.
limit on the production.
Right.
It has to have a restaurant.
Right.
It has to have a beer.
Right. And so this
municipal
retail
license.
center would have no on-site production?
That's correct.
I guess,
For a
yeah.
brewery. For a brewery.
But I think your point is well taken, that we maybe do want to define it.
Can they have a restaurant
A brewery can have a
in their
restaurant.
retail?
It's like, at
I
what point
think
is it just
so.
a store?
I
or a
think so. It's
restaurant,
not
or-
defined in the statute, but I
Yeah.
think the only thing the city would want to make clear is that it's retail only.
Okay,
It's not manufacturing.
Okay.
And I think that would be
Production.
important. Yeah,
Right.
it's not a brewing facility.
okay.
And that's
That makes
a
sense
good-
to me, but
Yeah,
I
that's
just-
a good, that would help in the ordinance.
Mary?
I just wanted to make it known that I'm the one no vote at Plan Commission. I don't feel that either a brewery or a distillery would fit in the downtown area. I can see winery, I can see a brew pub, as a brew pub is a restaurant-based, that's its main source, and a winery is something where, you can have wine and cheese and sit by the river and enjoy, but I don't feel we need a distillery in our downtown location, nor a brewery in our downtown location. So I will, as much as I appreciate all the hard work you've done, Denny, on this, that you really, and Catherine, I just, as time went on, I thought it through more, and there's just two things I'd like to see not downtown.
But I'm looking at this, and it's got an NP for B2 and B3 for a brewery, which means it's not allowed.
Right, well, that was one of the things that we took away at Plan Commission, but my point was that I wanted that and distilleries off of away from downtown.
So distilleries are showing up under manufacturers.
Yeah, that's how it's termed in the statute, so I thought it best to use the term, they're going to have a manufacturer's permit. And what they can do, at least with respect to alcohol, will be defined by the statute under that permit. So that's why I use the term manufacturers. The ordinance probably won't have distillers in it, but it was just to help educate people who wouldn't associate manufacturers with distillers.
The term
Okay.
distillers or distilleries had been used up until the last Plan Commission meeting when Catherine
Yeah,
explained going to the manufacturer's term for consistency with the state statutes.
Okay.
So
that's a policy issue for Plan Commission and the council. Manufacturers are more of they're manufacturing intoxicating liquor, basically.
I see that as no different than a brewery as far as trucks coming into town.
Right, that's my point. Why would we do breweries, why would we
But
allow the
one thing
distillery
you
in?
said, Mary, is, a winery, I can't say what you're picturing, but it seems like you're picturing like a small boutique winery.
Right.
There's no reason it couldn't be a big winery production.
We have a square footage limitation on it. That's how we limit the size of it. We did a square footage. So we can't have in the downtown area we're talking about.
So what's the biggest difference between a brewery and a manufacturer? Or
A
brewery and a
manufacturer
distillery?
is for intoxicating liquor other than wine.
Which is a distiller?
Yes,
Or a
but
brewery.
the liquor statutes don't use the term distiller. They're
Right.
gonna have a manufacturer's permit.
It's spirits, right?
Yes,
Hard liquor.
hard liquor,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
All right, got it.
Okay.
why wouldn't you take out the brew pubs out of this? Because this to me is a manufacturing.
Well, brew pubs are a licensed operation under the state statute, and they're different from breweries. They
Because I've got Brady's in New Richmond in my head right now.
Right, that's a brew pub.
And I want to see that downtown.
Yes,
Yep,
and
and
it
that's why
can
we
be
have it.
downtown. if
Now, I
it
don't want a
meets-
facility where, assuming it's just distilling 45th parallel,
Right.
for example. We don't, this is what this is geared towards.
Correct.
Brew pub is similar to what you're thinking as a facility in New Richmond. The question was, can we limit the size of these facilities to fit within the context of the downtown area? If we don't think we can do that, then perhaps we shouldn't allow them. The attempt to limit to 3,000 square feet of production area and 4,000 square foot for a tasting room facility was our attempt to try to fit these types of facilities within the context of the downtown business area.
Okay.
And I would recommend that we have the public hearing. Let's hear what the folks have to say, and we don't have to make a decision tonight on whether or not but I think there's good points that were raised about where you feel about it or how you feel about it. But again, the purpose we did so we don't get again, we have to look at the size of our downtown, and we have where would that, with those limited space, where would they go? There is 3,000 square feet isn't real big. So,
I mean, do we have any sense that by limiting it to the 3,000 or 4,000 square feet, that it's already too restrictive? Do we have any reason to believe that? I don't know
I
how
don't
big they
have a
normally
sense
are.
of
I don't
that. I
think
mean,
we
I
do.
don't
Well,
have any input into
if
that.
we go off
That
the
was-
if we go off the information from Plan Commission, they were
If
going
I can
to.
answer that question. Early in the discussions, we discussed with some potential businesses what they felt they could live within, what grounds or limits they thought from a square footage, area, and tasting room, what what we're proposing fit into what they felt
Okay,
we could
good.
live, what they could live with.
Yeah, that's, I
But-
wasn't part of that discussion, so I didn't really know, but that's
Okay,
great.
good, thank you.
I think for the public hearing, what we'll do is get, clean this up into ordinance form, put in off-site retail definition, so that you'll have more formal, in proper format and stuff. And it's not that you can't still make changes, based on comments or whatever, but that will be.
So any other discussion?
I'll move we set the public hearing for March 24th.
Is there a second?
2014 at
I'll second that.
6:15.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Thank you. Denny, I think you're still up. Discussion, possible action on development plans for 1144 square foot building addition to 422 Second Street, Spring Creek Dental. Dr. Melissa Deeg. Mr. Carl.
Plan Commission recommends approval of the development plans for the building renovations in the 1,144 square foot addition to 422 Second Street as proposed by Spring Creek Dental, Melissa Deeg, DDS. Mr. Kevin Gangland is here tonight from Progressive Architecture, who's the architect, if you want to have him review plans with you. We did receive 2 phone calls this afternoon, one to Tom Zuley, Public Works Director, and myself in regards to, because this project is adjacent to the public parking lot, the Williams parking lot, that with construction, there will be periods of time when the parking stalls will not be usable. And I don't know if we can resolve that issue tonight. I'd like to, really take that to staff and try to get that resolved, but I didn't want to propose a recommendation to you tonight without you knowing that there is potentially impact on almost all 14 stalls on the north side of that parking lot
During the construction.
during the construction. Some of it will be from staging, entrance in, construction, painting, and it could be anywhere from a 2 to 4 month period of time. So I just want to bring that out tonight as so that you didn't think city staff was avoiding that issue.
I'd like to have, if so, come up and show the council the proposed plans.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, my name is Kevin Gamlin, and I'm here on behalf of Progressive Architecture, the architect of the project.
You want to move the microphone off
Sure.
the side so they can see it? Okay, and if you could use that, that would be great, because then
Okay.
it'll be on TV.
Great, thank you. All right. So just to kind of walk you through the project, it is on 422 2nd Street in Hudson. So moving from the existing facade, basically we're going to kind of clean it up, remove the existing awnings, box in the storefront to be kind of in keeping with the downtown style. As we move towards the south elevation, which is the parking lot elevation, the existing building is from here and back, and there's a small addition that will be removed. And then the new dental office area will be in the back here. So kind of moving up top here from the existing building to a new single-story addition. And to work with the slope of the hill and the stormwater situation, we're proposing a rain garden. And basically, it's a filtration type system for stormwater. It's designed to hold 2 back-to-back severe rainfalls, and then ultimately if there were any overflow, it would trickle into the parking zone here. And so submitted is the landscape plan, and then in the back, there will be 2 paved parking spaces for the dentist.
Can you just tell people where this is on
Yeah,
Second Street in case they're not?
On 2nd Street, the city parking lot is right in this zone, and it is currently the bookstore in that location.
Questions? Anyone have any questions for her?
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, now we'll ask one more time for questions.
Did you address the parking issue?
Well, I guess, does the council want perhaps Tom, Marty Jensen, and myself to sit down with the contractor, to try to work out? I mean, this project will not move ahead without some disturbance to the parking lot.
Right.
I mean, but again, issues such as, are they gonna pay for the revenue that's lost? They have proposed to restore any pavement that's been damaged and so forth. So those issues will be reviewed. I guess the question is,
Can we
Do
allow
you-
staff to
you-
resolve those issues?
I have faith that our staff can take care of those issues.
but there will be some disturbance to the off-street parking in that area during this construction period, which could last from 2 to 4 months.
And when is it supposed to start?
Well, basically be late spring, summer project.
Well, it's 14 stalls, and if need, I mean, these are not reserved stalls or contractor
They're
stalls.
metered stalls.
They're
Metered
metered
stalls.
stalls. So, I mean, I think that if you guys have the ability to come up with a good solution for the city, there's no reason why any of us should feel the need to micromanage that, I guess.
I feel the same way.
I would say we minimize it,
Yep.
and, if to maximize the outcome for the city, if it means charging for those fees, 14 stalls times whatever, it's a pretty easy number to come up with.
Besides the loss of revenue, though, it's the loss of the 14 parking
Right.
spots. I think
No
that's.
doubt about it, and that's why I say,
Yep,
all we ask for is to minimize the disruption.
yep,
So if there's things that can be removed, especially on the weekends,
especially on the weekends.
Right.
that would be great.
Does that seem reasonable with you, Denny, that you guys
I
can?
think you have trust in us, we appreciate that.
I think you guys can handle that, can't you? I feel comfortable with that. Does anybody else have any comments on it? Thoughts? Okay, then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, under new business, we have discussion, possible action on memorandum of understanding between the City of Hudson and the Hudson Area Joint Library. I think everyone sees that in your packet. Basically, this is something that Catherine has drafted because of the item that came to our attention. We've been having a lease for probably 25 years with our old library and our new library, and leases are not considered reimbursable expenses, so that we are changing the wording to call it a operating expense. Catherine, am I close?
Occupancy.
Occupancy expense, excuse me. And that would be considered operating expense. So that would, I see the library board approved it on 2/18, and we are bringing it to the council for their approval tonight. Does anyone have any questions about it?
No, but it was a 7-0 vote to approve it by the library board, from what I heard.
Yes, it was. Yep.
So I'll make a motion for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Communication for future agenda items. Anybody have anything they'd like to see on the agenda? Communication from city attorney or staff? City administrator? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We're adjourned. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.